With a NASA-style countdown, North Korea fires off the most powerful missile it's ever tested. Kim Jong-un is there, personally supervising the launch. A slickly produced propaganda video showing several different angles of liftoff and flight. Tonight, U.S. officials and independent weapons analysts tell CNN this is a new North Korean missile, what Pyongyang calls the Hwasong-15. It is a massive and intimidating game changer.
There's no doubt that the North Koreans can now hit anywhere in the United States with an intercontinental ballistic missile.
This missile flew far into space, nearly 3,000 miles, 10 times higher than the International Space Station, and was in the air for more than 50 minutes. Flattened out, its trajectory could show the capability to hit anywhere in the U.S. Overall, experts say, a significant improvement from the long-range missile North Korea tested in July, starting with the size.
This missile is smaller than the one that was just recently tested. Here you have one that's about 1.75 meters in diameter. Here you have one that is 1.9 meters in diameter. This means it can carry considerably more fuel and propellant that enables it to power larger engines.
Missile experts believe this latest missile probably carried a dummy warhead, which was about the same weight as a real nuclear bomb. To do that, the North Koreans appear to have added more engines from the single engine they used in July.
Now you have two, which provides double the thrust, which means this missile can carry a much larger payload to a longer distance. In other words, it can threaten the entire United States with a nuclear warhead.
In just under 5 months since the last test, this North Korean rocket appears to have better guidance and accuracy. Experts say each engine on this rocket has nozzles moving side to side to steer the missile, replacing the fins and thrusters on the last rocket. A stunning advance, considering that this year and last, there were several failed launches of North Korea's intermediate-range Musadon missiles.
They're not too worried if there is a failure, because they're going to figure out what the problem was, and they're going to adapt it and get it right the next time and prove an extended range.
The potential of war with North Korea increased since this latest launch.
I think it's increasing every day, which means that we're in a race, really. We're in a race to be able to solve this problem, not just us, right, but the United States, all of our allies and partners. As we know, China has tremendous coercive economic power over North Korea. I mean, you can't shoot a missile without fuel, right? And so there are ways to address this problem short of armed conflict, but it is a race because he's getting closer and closer, and there's not much time left. The greatest immediate threat to the United States and to the world is the threat posed by the rogue regime in North Korea and his continued efforts to develop a long-range nuclear capability.
And on Friday, signs emerged that another test could be underway soon with the construction of a new launch pad. It's a big step forward for the North Korean military, which has pressed on with its missile and nuclear programs despite the Trump administration's attempts to isolate the North diplomatically and economically.
That maximum pressure campaign is our top national security priority here. Nations continue to get on board and support that.
If North Korea does launch against the U.S., one likely target is Hawaii. Officials there taking the threat seriously, testing a newly revamped air raid warning system on Friday. Tourists and residents say they think it's a good idea, given the unpredictability of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
He seems somewhat unstable, and because of that, I think precautions should be taken.
It's concerning. I feel a little bit like it's out of my hands.
South Korean officials say at the rate that they are progressing, North Korea could have a viable arsenal of nuclear missiles ready by the middle of next year.
South Korea and the United States will hold a joint Air Force drill next week involving almost 230 aircraft. The regular exercise is called Vigilant Ace, which was planned before North Korea's latest missile launch. But coming so soon after, it may involve a bigger show of force than ever before.
U.S. strategic assets are arriving in South Korea for an annual joint Air Force drill called Vigilant Ace next week. The airborne exercise is set to mobilize 12,000 U.S. personnel and almost 230 aircraft. 6 F-22 Raptor stealth fighter jets are to be deployed starting Saturday, and all 6 jets will fly over South Korea simultaneously for the first time in the history of the joint drill. F-22 jets are equipped with full stealth capabilities, meaning that they can infiltrate North Korean airspace undetected and destroy key nuclear and missile facilities. 12 F-35B jets will also be deployed. The presence of the F-22 Raptor and the F-35B fighters is expected to put maximum pressure on North Korea, as both aircraft can reach Pyongyang in only 10 minutes if they depart from Osan Air Base, located 64 kilometers south of Seoul, and in 20 minutes from Kunsan Air Base in Jeollabuk-do Province. In addition to these two, 6 F-35A stealth fighter jets also arrived in South Korea last week, and B-1B bombers are expected to take part in the drill as well. South Korea's defense ministry says the joint exercise will focus on striking facilities and moving targets in North Korea, as well as countering possible North Korean invasions by sea and air. This year's Vigilant Ace comes in less than a week after Pyongyang launched an ICBM, so it's expected to be carried out amid high tensions on the peninsula.
New satellite images appear to show North Korea building another launch pad. The images come just days after the rogue regime fired a powerful ICBM into the Sea of Japan. That missile believed to be shown in this video from a military parade. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott is live from London. Greg, what more do we know about this new launch pad?
Dana, yeah, it looks like North Korea might be getting ready to start even more trouble. As you noted, Fox News has obtained new satellite imagery taken just a couple of days ago to the northwest of the North Korean capital, Pyongyang, and it seems to show, yes, the construction of another launch site not far from where an ICBM took off in July of this year. This, as South Korean officials today confirmed what we have been reporting for a couple days now, that this week's missile had a potential range of 100 miles, putting all of the U.S. mainland in its reach, potentially with a nuclear warhead. This launch celebrated in a very orchestrated way in Pyongyang today. Also, officials speaking to the masses gathered, saying that North Korea was now a, quote, nuclear force, Dana.
North Korea is advancing a submarine-launched ballistic missile program based on an analysis of commercial satellite imagery from 3 separate days in mid-November. The US-based North Korea watchdog 38 North says the regime has newly completed a second submersible ballistic missile test stand barge at its Nampo Navy shipyard. The barge is a platform that allows for underwater missile launches outside of submarines. Once in service, the barge will help facilitate broader testing and could allow North Korea's West Sea Fleet to obtain SLBM capabilities. SLBMs are especially worrisome as they are much more difficult to target and detect than land-based missiles.
The National Assembly's Defense Committee has passed a resolution condemning North Korea's recent missile launch, saying it violates the two countries' armistice agreement. The committee on Saturday demanded the North to immediately halt further nuclear and missile development that threatens peace and security on the Korean peninsula. The committee also called for the South Korean government to shore up its sanctions on Pyongyang and strengthen its defense capabilities to counter threats. The move was in response to North Korea's launch of a new ICBM on Wednesday.